right, good morning. Hope everybody had a good bye week and got rested up here for the fourth quarter of the season. Going to be a fantastic matchup with two of the iconic brands in college football history. I think Oklahoma and Alabama ranked first and second since World War II in total wins, and maybe are tied for the most 11-win seasons in college football history. So Alabama's got a fantastic football team. They're undefeated at home. Eight straight wins for them since an opening game loss to Florida State. And I think they have the longest home winning streak in the country at 17 wins. Their averaging win margin is 40-11, and their wins at home. And they got a really good roster. They're playing really well on both sides of the ball. Their defense leads the SEC in turnovers caused and turnover margin. And offensively, they've been just incredibly efficient. The quarterback's only thrown one interception. This is his fourth year, really experienced, incredibly savvy, very accurate, just under 70% completion percentage. He's got a ton of touchdown to interception ratio. I think he's got something like 17 touchdowns, and just been really fantastic. The skills as good as we'll see all year. Got a really good offensive line, incredibly physical, and then again defensively they're really aggressive, super well coached in all three phases. Going to be a great challenge, but something I know our guys are looking forward to.
Yeah, Brent, in the 10 days since the Tennessee game, you had to play the late interception where you really wanted to run the ball. Have you done any self-scouting or protocol change or discussion about how you can avoid that kind of situation in the future?
Yeah, we got a small window to communicate. We got to be very clear about what we want, and making good decisions that way from a communication standpoint. And but yeah, we do a lot of self-scouting. Certainly that situational football, we discussed it, immediately, and some other scenarios there in the second half as well. Really from our season, we've had several games come down to the last drive or two of the game. So normal protocol and during in-season self-scout, but something that we can't be on the wrong side of.
Brent, I know John's won a lot of big games before, but post-hand surgery, winning at South Carolina and then winning at Tennessee the way you guys were able to win that game, I don't sense that he lacks for confidence, but to get that win in Neyland, how influential do you think that is for him, or how important do you think that was for him?
I think it's important for any player, for the team, as you develop your identity and guys start to gain confidence as the season goes on from improving and going through the challenges of game day and everything that presents. You learn from all of it. I think John's got great self-awareness. We've got a team that's got a lot of awareness, and a team, John included, that want to be coached and willing to have truthful conversations so that you can improve and get better. And that's the only way you can do it is by going through it.
Brent, I think it was the drive right after the defensive touchdown against Tennessee. Daniel McCoy comes in, gets a sack. Just what's it been like watching him continue to develop this season and him being ready for that?
Yeah, really hungry. He's got a ton of energy. Loves to be coached. Shows up every day with just a willingness to go to work. Obviously, you saw a small snapshot. We see him every day, and a guy that has a chance to have a great future. And but he's really taken another big step from a confidence and a consistency standpoint. At defensive end, Coach Chavis done a great job. Danny's done a great job of working and just improving, from his foundation where he started and playing the level of football that he played to where he's at now. It's just incredibly exciting, but he's a really disruptive, explosive player.
Brent, just sort of a program question for you. Tomorrow they're going to approve the next phase of the West Side Stadium renovations, and I was just curious how involved you are in those discussions, just important is that for the investment in the program?
Yeah, I'm not, some of the level of detail, it's not, I'm not included in those conversations, but it's incredibly exciting. I think it shows a commitment to, our fans, certainly our players, our program, the things that it's going to potentially provide from a game day experience. And just, again, it's 100 years old, the stadium is, and so it's coming right at the right time. And I know there's things that have to take place tomorrow to ensure that, we can take the next step in that direction. But I think everybody's going to be excited when all the details and the renderings come out, whenever that is. But it's also a source of pride, for our university community as well. And but looking forward to, taking another big step that way. And again, I think, I don't want to get into all those details. It's not really my lane, but there's been incredible support, financially speaking, to make it happen as well. Mm-hmm.
Ryan Grubb, their offensive coordinator, has had tremendous success with some of his quarterbacks going back to Michael Penix a couple of years ago at Washington, Ty Simpson this year. What is it about his scheme and his system that makes it so quarterback-friendly for guys?
Yeah, just knows how to create leverage in formationing and motions, understand defense very well. They do a lot of things at the line to put them in an advantageous position. So they do a lot of, if it's blitz, do this. If it's man, do this. If it's, zone coverage, do that. And so they do a good job of teaching the quarterback those things, giving them a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage to stay away from negative plays, to help them stay on schedule, to be efficient. So does a really good job, So what does that look like on game day? Just the quarterback being an extension of the offensive staff. And so well-versed for the quarterback, very efficient for the quarterback, understanding, how to create access in the throwing game. And they do that by, again, a lot to their play design. Mm-hmm.
Brent, kind of along those lines, you talked about Ty Simpson. He's a guy that's been there for a long time, but this is his first year as the starter. Just what has stood out about him, and specifically the efficiency? What has maybe allowed him to be so efficient?
Yeah, well, he's a coach's kid. His dad's a college football coach, and so he's been around the game, and so he's got good instincts for it. Again, well-versed in, what they're trying to do, and then understanding what he's seeing. But he's got great maturity, really good decision-making, very decisive. He's got great arm talent. And, again, keeps him out of bad plays. You go back and, again, their turnover margin, they lead the SEC in turnover margin. And that there's not a stat that's more important than that. And taking care of the football, making good decisions, not putting them in harm's way is the job of the quarterback. And when you've got good players, you've got good coaches, and you take care of the ball, good things, will happen. I think since 23, when we've taken care of, we've won the turnover margin. I think we're 16-0. And so that's just, that's something that they've done at a really high level. I think a year ago, I don't know where exactly they ranked a year ago at this time, but it wasn't, they're not in the same place from a, taking care of a ball standpoint. Mm-hmm.
Necessarily mean anything Saturday, but you haven't been to Bama before. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, just electric atmosphere, tremendous game day pageantry, a very prideful fan base. There's a few more people in the stadium now. It'll be over 100,000 people. But just, it's just electric. Great game day experience.
Yeah, Brent, I wanted to ask you about Grayson Hall. And what stood out to you most about his development, especially this year, and the way that he's attacked that?
Yeah, just, again, full of energy, very passionate. He's developed into a leader. So he's got a little more centralized focus to him, where maybe in the past he's a little bit messy. And he cares about the program. He's heavily invested. He's was a tremendous athlete when he got here. played defensive end, was a tight end mainly in high school, and he's really worked hard to, to develop, put on the size he needs to so that he can hold up at the point of attack. He took a huge step a year ago in his ability to both rush the passer and play against the run with his block rec, his pad level, just his explosiveness again at the point of attack and his ability to anchor. So those have taken big steps over the last 12 to 16 months. And but the most notable change for him is just how he's really matured into a fantastic, emotional, well-versed leader. He when he speaks in front of the team, the guys listen, and so they do that because of the amount of time, effort, and energy he's put in, to his career. And again, he cares about the locker room and the team, this team's opportunity. So couldn't be more proud of him and the way he's really just kind of grown up here the last several years. And then he's got a very unique skill set when it comes to rushing the passer and getting off on the rock. So he's playing his best football at the end of his career, which is right on time for most guys. Mm-hmm.
When you have an offense that's not super highly rated rushing, sometimes that can pop up in the red zone. But Alabama, top 20 in red zone offense. As you studied them, what makes them so good at being able to get it done in the red zone, even if they're not a top 5 rushing attack or something like that?
Yeah, they just they're very efficient. They, again, stay out of the negative plays there. They've got a lot of excellent play design concepts when they get down into the red zone, and they understand defense and how defense works. That's when I watch them, that's what I see. And so they try to put you in conflict and attack your rules and things of that nature. So they're really smart that way, understanding what you do. They run the ball in that area really well. They got good players. But again, at 92%, conversion rate, that's really, really high and efficient. So I think they're comfortable in that space. It looks like they spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, Brent, saw you got to be on the sideline at Clemson to see Tyler, obviously not his senior night, but close to it. I guess, what was it like for you just to get to be on the sideline and watch your son, and also how difficult is it to turn off the coaching switch and just be a dad for a Saturday like that?
Yeah, well, I don't get very much of an opportunity to do that, if at all. So it's fun, to be there, for him and his moment, his journey. Being a coach, sometimes everything's about you and your career, and the family kind of follows suit. So thankful that I had the opportunity to do that. What's it like? I mean, it's a very relaxing place. It's when it comes to being able to just be dad and not make it about you. So it was good.
What I was going to ask about that as well. What did you think of Dabo's impression of you?
I was told about it. I haven't heard it. He's got me down. He's got about everybody down when he's good at the impressions, but I don't think it was fourth down. It was a different situation. I think it was second and extra long, but that's neither here nor there.
Some of the Alabama players have already talked about kind of wanting to rectify what happened here last year. They're going to be talking about revenge and everything like that. How do you guard against that with your guys?
Yeah, I don't think that a year ago, good or bad. I've never carried over wins and losses. You learn from all of it, but I think it can paralyze you, by holding on to something. Motivated, yeah, but I think the motivation for everybody is because what the opportunity is sitting in front of us. It's a top 10 matchup, and there's a lot that's on the line. The season for both of us, is impacted by the result, at the end of the night. So, they're different, we're different. Certainly it's at their place, but who wouldn't be excited to play? Oklahoma, Alabama, going to be on a huge stage. Again, as I opened up, two iconic programs, two of the winningest programs in college football history, certainly the top two since World War II. And I think that's in itself enough to get excited about. Mm-hmm.
I've noticed David Stone runs out with the Oklahoma State flag before every game. What does that say about his commitment to the program, especially what happened?
Now, David's got tremendous pride in being from this state. The past former players, certainly at this program, and the other players that have been born and raised in this state as well, is mentored by several of them. But he's a very grounded young guy, cares about people as much as any player I've ever been around. Cares about his opportunity, cares about his family, but he's a proud Oklahoman, and I think it's something that's important to him that he represents that, gets an opportunity to represent that on game day. I think it's pretty cool.
Brent, I think it's so cool that you got to go back to see T-Bone play, and you and Julie got to go back. I think that's so neat. Their ability to vertical passing game. They got three great receivers in this game. I think one of the great games within the games is your matchup with your secondary and your back seven, or how you're going to say the whole defensive team against that passing attack. Can you talk about that matchup?
Yeah, just they've got explosive playmakers from one side of the field to the other. They do a great job. The tight ends are included in that. They make a ton of plays as well, both in the underneath game and the vertical game. But they've got length and tremendous catch radius. I think that goes without saying. Their ability to catch the runners underneath is what makes them, really dangerous as well. The screen game, they get them involved in the screen game, but they're hard to contain, and you got to put body on body and play with the right kind of leverage. If you don't have the right kind of leverage based on where your help is, they'll make you pay. The quarterback is, as I said, very accurate, but they know how to run routes. They're very detailed in how they play the game.
Coach, if there were one or two things that you could say about the offensive line in terms of run blocking in the last 3 games that stand out to you, what would they be so that the average fan can understand what's
I think
happening?
confident, physical at the point of attack, and still improving that way. They've gained confidence through a lot of hard work. I think being together as well, having some success, helps build a little bit of a rhythm and the confidence as well. They haven't been perfect, but it's a group that has shown that they've learned from some of the issues that they've had, and again, all their best days are still in front of them. So there's a lot that goes into that offensive line success. It's the back, it's the tight ends, the quarterback, getting them in and out of the right runs or protections, things of that nature, and but it's a group that's slowly coming along, and it's been a big deal these last 3 games, having the opportunity to go in the fourth quarter late in the game and have a chance to win because of the improvement and the success that group has shown. And I think the last 3 games were, in the top 3 in the SEC in our efficiency at running the football. So I think that's just I think it's a reflection of just steady improvement, and but still got a lot of work to do there too.
Last year's, you didn't have a good year, but Bama comes here late in the year, and you guys played great. You shut them down. What'd that do, just beating them the way you did? What'd that do for the direction of the program and salvaging that season and preparing for this year, those kinds of things?
Yeah, I don't know direction of the program or not. It was a great moment. I look at them all that way. They all matter. But for our guys, when I think it was a sign when we get out of our own way, take care of the football, run it efficiently, create explosives in the run game, making good decisions offensively, complementing each other on both sides of the ball in the kicking game. We're on the plus side of the margin. We scored on defense, created some short fields for the offense, and just played really good, clean, complementary, fundamentally sound physical football. And, so that was a byproduct of that. And, for us, using that moment to teach our guys, look, just be better at the basics than the guy you're lining up against. And sometimes we can overcomplicate things. And but that's what it was. It was a good moment and a teaching moment.
Yeah, just how are Mason and Kobe doing after the week off?
Yeah. Again, haven't seen them on the field since last Thursday, so I'll see them here later on today. We'll see where they're at. Mm-hmm.
Brent, the emergence of Xavier Robinson, tailback. I mean, he had his moments last year too, but he looks like he's even bigger and stronger right now. Talk about him and his development. Where do you think he's at as a running back?
Yeah, I mean, he's gaining confidence. He was missed some time during fall camp early in the season, was banged up, and he's a very instinctual runner, runs good and strong and tough behind his pads, got great feet, a good natural feel how to set up blockers, and again, just a sophomore. And so his best football still in front of him. He's becoming a complete back when it comes to protection and understanding the entirety of the offense. He's a good weapon out in space. He's a load to handle out in space, when he catches the ball and gets vertical as well. So he has great balance, hard to, knock off his feet. And got to take care of the ball. That's a big part. These guys are going to come hawking at the football. And he'll be the first one to, tell you that. He's got to continue to improve with, ball security. He's done a pretty good job, but again, that was a huge one. We got 1st and 10, in a scoring position 2 weeks ago, and but he's worked really hard, for his opportunity, stayed ready, and shows when you do that, he's made the most of his opportunity.
Yeah, I just wanted to. You went from coaching Tyler to now watching him from afar. Can't remember if we've talked about this in the past, but what was the kind of conversations with him where he wanted to stay at Clemson, finish his career there, now in his 6th year, rather than maybe come here with you?
Yeah, well, he was like, "What should I do, Dad?" I'm like, "Well, this is your decision. These are, this is what kind of going from boyhood to manhood is all about." I said, "You got to, follow your dreams. This is mine." And he worked hard for his opportunity there. All of his best friends were there. He had established himself as a leader and player there. Might have been a girl that kept him there too. I don't know. You have to ask him. No, she's great, but a lot goes into that. And would I have loved to see him every day? Selfishly speaking, absolutely. But I think as Julie and I look back at it, we've seen more growth and, maturity that's taken place in the several years that we've been here, where things aren't as comfortable, for him, having mom and dad right there. And you just got to kind of figure out things and build your own opportunity, your own name, so to speak. It's been a lot of fun for us to watch that take place. And if I didn't trust the people there like I trust them, then maybe it was a different conversation. And that was, as I'm trying to help him navigate, I'm like, look, what do you think of your day-to-day environment? Who you would be doing life with? Who would mentor you? Who would coach you? And if you don't feel great about it, then this is an easy decision. But if the people are fantastic, if the people are genuine, if the people are gonna, care about you as a human being as much as a player, and I told Coach Sweeney, I've thanked him many times just for investing. If anybody's had a child and has had people that have been really good at investing in them, in their soul and in their manhood, in their just impact and influence, then you would be the first one to admit you can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on it. And so we have a great piece, Julie and I, just about the environment that he's been in day to day, and have seen this exponential growth and maturity into just a really good young man that knows what he wants in life and knows how to lead and cares about people. He's got a tremendous work ethic and just a lot of really cool stuff that you want to see, from, all your children. So it was really his decision, but one that, we encouraged him to, chase, your dream and what you want in life. And, we'll always have your back, and that's what FaceTime's for.
How does that make you feel?
No, I mean, you're conflicted as a dad. I'm on this side of it, and there's the coaching profession is the greatest profession on the planet, in my opinion. And you got to be willing to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. There's nothing easy about it. And I've had this incredibly favored career, and my message to my kids is that this isn't the norm. But I've been able to be around some amazing, successful, very, very successful people, and so I've not seen things like some other people maybe have. At the same time, I've worked hard for every opportunity I've been given, and feel like that I've, again, been fortunate to do so. So, but he's got great instincts for the game. He's always been a leader. He sees things from a different type of lens. So he's got a lot of amazing qualities in both leadership, and his football natural instincts are a little bit different. So proud dad. All right, y'all have a great week.